Alright, so I've been waiting to do this review for a while now. I never had the... Okay, so when I bought the thing from Walmart, like last year or whatever it was, I knew there was a prequel. I knew I could get it off of eBay, but I never had the itch to. So originally I had the idea to purchase this when I was doing I was going to do the creature feature, 31, and then I decided not to, but I ordered it anyway so I could finally cover this film. The 2011 prequel, not remake, but 2011 prequel, The Thing. And something I noticed is that they kind of tried to copy the original, because this is the original cover with the person in the snow, and you got that. It kind of trying to imitate that, but so The Thing 2011 is the prequel to the first film and shows you the events of the Norwegian when the Norwegian station in Antarctica that was attacked by the Thing. It shows them finding the Thing and all that. And they do kind of work around the fact that it's supposed to be all Norwegians. Because at the beginning of the John Carpenter film, there's a guy that doesn't speak English, and there's a guy in a helicopter that explodes, and then the guy's trying to shoot the dog, and they kill him, and it turns out the dog is the Thing. So, yeah, they work around it because they do have some Americans there, which is really weird to me. Because I remember they show, so the first scene of this is them finding the alien spaceship with the creature, which you do see the form of the creature. And then they bring in this American team. We're supposed to be 4 Americans, I think. Maybe there's more, but there's Elizabeth Winstead. She plays our main character of Kate. There's Eric Christian Olsen. Apparently you have to have 30 names to work here to play these characters. As Adam, there's Adwale Akobaji, Mr. Echo from Lost. Is his name Jameson, I think? And then there's Joel Edgerton, who's Australian. Also Akbaji, Mr. Echo, he's actually British, but Joel Edgerton plays Carter. Isn't there a Carter in the original one too? That's a Clark. But anyway, so yeah, they're brought in and they start to experiment and they say, oh, we found something, so they set the party, and then this thing wreaks havoc. And the one thing I noticed almost right away is a big difference from the John Carpenter film is the John Carpenter film was all about subtlety. You never knew who was a thing, what was going to happen. This is a monster movie. There are a lot of scenes where the creature is out in the open, screeching, running around, attacking people. There's a lot of those. The original wasn't like that. The original was very subtle. You only saw a couple times when it absorbed. Here, they do. And yes, I'm going to point out the CGI effects. They're not very good. They're not terrible by any means, but they're not very good. And here's the thing. They actually wanted to do all practical effects with digital extensions only because they wanted to honor the original film. But someone, I don't know who, a producer or something, after the initial film was done, decided, cover it all up with CGI. Apparently they didn't like the way it looked, but can you really say this was better? Because it's not. There are points when it's like the screeching monster thing, I think it's okay, because there's a lot going on when that happens. The absorbing stuff is okay. There's one that really pointed out, and this is another. So, this also goes to the negative of why I don't like prequels. Prequels are, we have to make sure everything matches up to the original, and we got to make sure that certain things happen. So there's a scene where one of the guys gets injured. They're going to take him to a medical station, and he's with another guy in the helicopter, and the guy turns, reveals that he's a thing, and kills them and crashes the helicopter. Now, we learn from the original thing that the thing is trying to escape, get into population, and, assimilate. So why in the hell would it not wait until it got to civilization? It was free. It was out. You could have your other thing connection doing whatever at the station. You had one that was out. And I almost think it would have been better if they did escape. And you're left to wonder, wait, was one of them a thing? The mystery. Was one of them a thing? Did they escape? Was it... There's a couple of times in this film they could have done that, but decided, we're not going to be subtle at all, goddammit. This is a monster movie. So we have to have him turn instead of just watching them fly off and then wonder, is any one of them a thing? Nah. Just have him do that. It still doesn't make any sense as to why he would do that. And we have to do that because prequel. So, yeah. But the CGI when the guy turns is terrible. And then there's a female who, I remember her name, Gabrielle or something. Kalina, I don't know. She turns out to be one. But this is where they find out, which doesn't make any sense, that piercings, fillings, anything metal in your body, it cannot assimilate, so it spits it out. We also know from the original that it cannot duplicate clothes, although they do not follow that here, because it's inconvenient, I guess. And it also, it's not a twist unless you can, But, and I'll point out one later, but yeah. And so she starts looking for fillings. And I'm sitting there going, well, what if you never had fillings? And then Adam goes, so if you don't have fillings, so what if I don't have any fillings? I'm just going to die? I'm like, yeah. Like me, I don't have any fillings. So if I'm in that station and I don't have fillings before this, I'm automatically a suspect, right? That's bullshit, right? Glasses, but they're not attached to me, so I don't know. But that could be a tell too. What if it doesn't need glasses? So I'm walking around with glasses on. That could be a thing. You can't see anything, but just saying. And there's a lot of the thing, creature, and assimilation, especially towards the end of this film when it really hits the fan. It really doesn't. It's not bad, but it doesn't have that certain mystery to everything that's going on. In the original, the thing about that was what it made that movie was the mystery. Even the end of the film, Carpenter purposely, made you think. He purposely made it so you did not know if Childs or Mac were a thing. One or both. You didn't know. And that worked. Here, because prequel, yes, there's people who are infected, but then everybody has to die. And we have to go to certain cues. We have to have an axe that goes into the wall and chops the thing in half. The thing hand in half. But when Carter goes to grab it, it's like, no, leave it. Why? I can assume it's because there's blood on it, and if Carter touches it, he could assimilate him. But she doesn't say that. She just says, no, leave it. Because that's where it was when Mac found it in the original. Also, it bursts through the wall, and they fry it, and it's a two-headed thing that they find at the beginning of the original. So, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of moments in this. Okay, I tuned out in the middle of this because I was cleaning my apartment up. But it was, I did find myself turning back every once in a while, so it's fun to watch. I would say try to watch this back to back with the original and see how closely it connects with some of the stuff. But let's talk about the ending of this film, because the ending of this film is what really made it, especially when I found out about the original. So, about what was originally intended in this ending. So, because it makes it so much more intriguing. So, they follow one of them out, and Carter. So, spoiler alert here. I already knew going in it was going to be revealed that Carter was a thing at the end of this. So, when he says, just let it go, it'll freeze to death, I'm like, well, one, you should already know that freezing it doesn't kill it because they found it frozen in the ice. So, it only puts it to sleep. Two, I'm like, oh, he's a thing, so he wants to let it go, but he's going to go with her and he's going to turn on her, right? Because I already knew he was a thing. Things been spoiled for me. But no, they specifically zoom in on the fact that he still has an earring in. And she looks at it, and I'm like, okay, so then why did he want to let it go? Certainly he's not that stupid to think it'll die in the snow. I think it's a spaceship. And yeah, there's CGI, but there's one point that they get separated, which is supposed to lean into the twist that he's a thing, which we never see him come into contact, but there's a point where she's going around with the flamethrower and she sees that there's this weird digital thing in front of her. Now, I thought it was weird. I'm like, what is that? But it turns out it was originally supposed to be the corpse of the alien pilot of the ship that hung itself. Man, that makes so much more sense. Because at the beginning of this, you see that the thing is far from the ship. So how did it crash? And then maybe it ran away, but I don't know. You know, this makes much more sense. It attached itself to the pilot. The pilot knew it was going to get taken over, killed itself, and ran up. The creature, the thing, ran away, got frozen in the snow, in the ice, whatever, and was found by them. This makes much more sense. It didn't fly the ship. It was maybe a specimen, or, you know, the thing at the point could have been this small, for all we know, in a specimen, much like Venom. But attached itself to that thing, but he hung himself to get rid of it, but there was still more of the specimen, or maybe it was another pilot. Who knows? But they decided, nah, that makes too much sense, and covered it up with some weird digital effect. So she kills the thing and destroys the ship. I'm assuming it does something. I know they find it in the next one, but in the original, but it was a ship. Her and Carter get out, and then when they go to get into the snowcat thing, she notices that Carter's earring is missing. So she turns on him, and he's saying, no, Kate, and then gets torched. We hear a screech, like the creature, but earlier in the film, when they're about to flamethrow one of the people, they say it could be murder. If you don't know, it could be murder. And that would call to this. This would be a callback to that. I think it would have been better, I know this is cruel, if there was no screech. If she flamethrowed him, if she set him on fire and he wasn't a thing. And I think maybe that was also the original intention. That maybe, I mean, I know he touches the wrong ear, you know, when she mentions it, so he was a thing. But I feel like it would have been, maybe it wasn't original intention, but it would have been better, you know, if she just misunderstood, if he just, you know, the earring fell out when he was down there. And you know, they could have done better. Like, your earring, what about it? It's gone. Huh? That's both ears. Huh? Must have fell out. And then she takes she doesn't want to take any chances, so but nope. We get another unsubtle thing, and then they add a screech at the end, and she goes into another snowcat thing and just lays there, and I'm assuming she dies of the cold, but there's still fires blazing. But we have to have her. We have a survivor girl, but she's not in the original, so she's just left out there to die because they were writing this and it's like, wait a minute, we have Kate survive. There's no survivor. You know what would work? Have her in the helicopter, because they showed the scene at the end of this that connects to the original, where they find there's this guy that doesn't speak English. He's Norwegian, he doesn't speak English. Lars. He comes running out. He's revealed to be the guy at the beginning of the first one shooting at the dog. So why don't you have it where she's in a helicopter with him, chasing down the dog, because the dog's the only thing left. We know that Lars gets out of the helicopter, but there are other ones, they crash. She's in the helicopter that crashes. It makes sense why we don't see her in that film. Otherwise, why didn't they find her when they went to the Norwegian site in the original? If she's just in the cat, they don't find a dead female body anywhere. At least not that I checked. So why didn't they find her? That's a plot hole. The only plot hole at the end of this, really, because everything connects so good at the end, except for that. If she's just laying in the snowcat thing, why wouldn't they find her? I know there's a lot of snow and ice and stuff going around, but they check every inch of that place, don't they? It just doesn't make that much sense to me. But, yeah, this was fine. Definitely not as good as the original, but I'm definitely going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's enjoyable for what it is. It's a nice monster movie to put on and just enjoy. Definitely worth your time. So, what are your thoughts on The Thing 2011? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. And next, thrill me.